it deepened so much more for me and took on so much more meaning and became so much a greater part of my mission and just so much more authentic and kind of part of who I am. It was no longer really about kind of a telesummit or my business. It was an expression of me, my passion, my message, my mission. It just became so much greater than a telesummit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. It makes a great deal of sense. Okay, because that was my feel, and that shift can be so subtle, but it reprioritizes a lot of things. Like you said, it.
Yeah, it does.
It's not about being a telesummit anymore. It's not even about my business anymore, and yet it is. It's more about the depth of meaning and where it comes from in your heart and in your sense of passionate commitment and mission.
Yeah.
It reprioritizes things, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, big time. It really has. And that in itself has been a really valuable journey as well, Lissa. And now when I'm looking at joint ventures or projects to take on board or things to say yes to, or, my own creative ideas as well, I'm looking at, is it in line with my values? Is it in line with my mission and my message? Is it aligned with my community and kind of, why my community have joined me and come on board with me and how I want to behave with my community? And then I look at, and is it also aligned with the other person? This is about a win-win all round, and does what I'm offering fit with their community and their message, rather than, maybe saying yes from ego or from a place of lack or for fear of what might they think if I say no and don't support them. So, I'm actually finding I'm saying no to more things than I'm saying yes to, but the things that I say yes to are just, incredible things. And of course, then that leaves more space for things that I really want to say yes to.
Right.
So, it's just absolutely amazing.
How did this shift, and I'll come back to what you just said in a minute, but how did this shift change the way you are proceeding with this particular project, the way that you are presenting it, the way, what changed?
The main things that changed was how I approached both speakers as speakers, but also speakers as joint venture partners. Rather than coming at it again purely, what is your list size? What product do you have that you can promote? Again, rather than coming at it from just the purely business and financial model, which is certainly the way that a lot of people go and are really successful at it. I'm not knocking it for sure. It obviously really works for some people, but it has never really quite resonated with me. And I think you once responded on one of my earlier Facebook posts whilst your Jupiter Midas Effects series was going on, is it, I'm no longer going to do anything that doesn't resonate with me just because it's what's expected in the industry. I'm going to do with what feels right to me. And so some of that was approaching people who may not necessarily mail, or they may not necessarily have a product to promote, but it was really about their energy, their passion, their overall mission, kind of the connection that I had with them and their work. And of course, if they, this is a business. This isn't saying this isn't about the money. It is a business as well. That's really important. But for me, it isn't the business decisions that necessarily lead me. It's the kind of the more heart-centered decisions that lead me. And if it makes good business sense, well, obviously so much the better.
Right.
But it's kind of, it's really leading from the heart. And it's been interesting when I've spoken with speakers and with their coordinators, I've had quite a lot of feedback from people that they found dealing with me really refreshing, and that there's kind of not many people like me out there in the telesummit industry, and that they really appreciate that I care about their community, that I care about, them as people. and that, you know, it's a mutual collaboration that we agree together rather than just kind of saying, right, this is what I want from you, and if you can't fulfill it, then I'm not interested, kind of thing. You know, it's very much around more of a negotiation and what I would think of as a real collaboration. And I've had really, really great feedback from people for that. And, you know, if it takes me a little while before I'm kind of, you know, up in the same level as some of those other telesummit hosts, well, so be it. But I need to do this my way, in a way that feels good to me and that kind of fits with me. But you know what, Lisa, I don't necessarily think it has to take longer. I don't think it has to be a case of one or the other. I think a lot more people are coming now that they want to deal with someone who's more authentic and kind of from their heart and can have a real relationship with. So I think it's, you know, people are going to be more drawn to working with people like me and you and the people in our space moving forward. So I really don't think that's going to be an issue. I think that's just something that our mind tells us, you know.
Right, right. It almost sounds like, so to refer back to Jupiter Midas, that how you're evaluating, and I'm very cognizant that the word value is in the word evaluate, that how you're evaluating opportunities has shifted. That,
yeah, hugely.
Yeah, and it's much more personally driven by a sense of care and concern for the people you serve, for the message you feel responsible for, shepherd and care about, for the relationships that you have, or potential relationships, the ones that you're hoping to build. That it changes where you're evaluating from and what you are evaluating. Yeah. So what you stand for becomes the platform from which you evaluate, and there's value in that is much richer and more meaningful. And like you said,
that's a fantastic way of putting it.
Yeah.
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 And that was really my sense of things as I listened to you and watched you and heard you, because that really is the Jupiter Midas shift. It's claiming evaluation from a place of recognition of higher value that's deeply personal and truly heart-driven. Yeah. It's about caring. It's about caring.